It was nearly midnight, and the rain hadn't stopped for hours. The soft patter against the windows had become a kind of rhythm in Lena's life, repetitive, distant, and oddly comforting in its cold predictability. She sat curled on the corner of the couch, wrapped in a fleece blanket, staring at the empty side of the sectional where her husband used to sit. Darren had left that morning for yet another work trip. No goodbye kiss, just a rushed, "Don't wait up." His absence had become the norm, and lately, Lena wasn't sure if she missed the man himself or just the idea of being missed. Their marriage hadn't always been like this. There were years of laughter, late-night movie marathons, and weekend getaways. But somewhere along the line, Darren's ambition had eclipsed their intimacy. He chased promotions, meetings, and international clients, while she wandered the halls of their home like a ghost looking for someone who still remembered her voice. A creak on the stairs broke her thoughts. Ethan, Darren's son from a previous marriage, appeared in the hallway. Tall, broad-shouldered, and still slightly jet-lagged from returning home from college, he gave her a sleepy smile. "Couldn't sleep either?" he asked. Lena shook her head. "Rain does that to me." He ambled in, grabbing a glass of water before flopping into the recliner opposite her. The flickering light from the TV danced across his face, highlighting the maturity that had quietly transformed him in the past year. He looked less like the lanky teenager she once knew, and more like a man who had seen the world from different angles. "Feels weird being back," Ethan admitted, eyes on the muted screen. "I imagine so," Lena replied. "A lot changes. In a year." He nodded, then glanced at her. "You look tired. Has Dad been keeping you up with those late-night calls?" She chuckled, but the sound held no joy. "No calls lately. He's been busy." There was a silence, not awkward, but weighted. Ethan shifted, and for a moment, his gaze lingered on her, too long for comfort. Lena felt the air thin. She broke the moment by standing up. "I should get some rest," she said, avoiding his eyes. Ethan leaned forward. "Lena, are you okay?" The question hit her harder than she expected. Simple, sincere, and more attention than Darren had paid her in weeks. She hesitated, forcing a smile. "Just tired. Thanks for asking." He watched her leave the room, his expression unreadable. The following morning brought little clarity. The rain had stopped, but a damp heaviness clung to the walls. Lena moved through the kitchen with practiced monotony, making coffee, folding napkins, arranging silence like furniture. Ethan entered, fresh from a jog. "Smells good," he said, nodding at the brewing coffee. She handed him a cup. "How's it feel being back under this roof?" He took a sip, then shrugged. "Strange, familiar, but not quite home." Lena nodded. "That makes two of us." Their eyes met again, and this time she didn't look away as quickly. There was something unspoken in the space between them. Recognition, perhaps, or loneliness disguised as understanding. Later that afternoon, Lena met Nicole at their favorite cafe. Her best friend since college, Nicole had a sixth sense for Lena's moods. "You look off," Nicole said, not bothering with small talk. "Just tired," Lena replied. Nicole raised an eyebrow. "Tired isn't a feeling. Try again." Lena sighed. "It's Darren. He's barely here anymore. And when he is, it's like living with a polite stranger." Nicole leaned in. "Have you told him how you feel?" "I've tried. He always promises to change. Then the next trip comes, and I'm back to empty dinners and voicemail greetings." Nicole studied her. "And Ethan? How's he?" Lena hesitated. "He's different now. More grown up. It's odd seeing someone change that much in just a year." Nicole didn't miss the shift in her voice. "Be careful, Lena. You're lonely. That's when boundaries blur." Lena gave a weak laugh, brushing off the concern. But as they parted, Nicole's words clung to her like the humidity in the air. That night, Lena lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Down the hall, Ethan's door clicked shut. a whisper of movement in a house too quiet for secrets. She closed her eyes, but rest wouldn't come. She wasn't sure what disturbed her more, Darren's growing absence or Ethan's growing presence. Either way, something had shifted, and she could feel it in her bones. The house was too quiet again. Darren had left that morning, suitcase in hand, suit jacket flung over his shoulder. No kiss, no eye contact, just a casual back Thursday before the door closed behind him. It wasn't just the absence of affection, it was the absence of noticing. Lena stood in the kitchen long after he left, coffee untouched, staring at the grain in the marble countertop. She didn't cry. She didn't rage. She simply stood still, hollowed out, waiting for a feeling that never came. The silence was broken by Ethan entering the room, barefoot, hair tousled, t-shirt clinging to his chest. He stopped when he saw her. "He gone?" he asked gently. She nodded. Ethan grabbed 2 mugs and poured the coffee. "Thought we could do dinner tonight, something homemade. You still make that baked salmon I like?" Lena blinked. "It's been a while." "Then it's time," he smiled. That evening, the kitchen buzzed with warmth and the scent of lemon garlic glaze. Ethan chopped vegetables with surprising skill while Lena prepared the fish. They moved easily, a quiet rhythm forming between them. Over dinner, they shared laughter over old memories. Ethan's failed attempt at building a treehouse, Lena's disastrous first attempt at pumpkin pie. For the first time in months, she felt seen. After they cleared the dishes, Lena opened a bottle of wine. Just 1 glass, she told herself. But 1 became 2, then 3. They settled on the couch, the room lit only by the dim glow of the floor lamp. Rain threatened outside again, a soft rumble in the distance. Ethan leaned back, stretching. No, you used to feel like the glue in this house." Lena glanced over, surprised. "What do you mean?" "I mean, after my mom left, this place felt empty. You made it feel like something real again, like family." She looked away, her voice tight. "I'm not sure I've done a very good job lately." "You've done more than anyone." There was a long pause. The space between them felt charged, as if words unspoken hung in the air, thick and humming. Ethan reached for his wine glass, his hand brushing hers. Neither moved, their eyes locked. Lena swallowed hard. "This isn't right." "I didn't say it was," he murmured, "but it doesn't feel wrong either." She stood, breath shaky. "I should go to bed." But her legs didn't move. His eyes searched hers, not with arrogance, but uncertainty. "Need." "Ethan." Her voice cracked, warning and weakness tangled together. He stepped forward, close now, too close. "You're lonely. I see it. I feel it every time you look at the door like you expect him to come back and love you again." Lena trembled, the truth cutting deeper than she'd expected. His hand rose to her face, fingers brushing her cheek, like a question. She didn't stop him. Their lips met, tentative at first, a whisper of contact, then urgent, desperate. The kiss wasn't about lust. It was about being noticed, about mattering. The world vanished. They moved through the haze, drawn into each other, 2 broken pieces pretending they could make something whole. Later, Lena sat at the edge of the bed, the sheet pulled around her like armor. Her skin still buzzed, but her mind screamed. Guilt slithered in, sharp and immediate. Ethan lay back, eyes wide open, arms behind his head. He didn't speak. She couldn't look at him. "What have we done?" she whispered. No answer. He turned away. Lena stood, gathered her clothes, and left without a word. Her legs were unsteady, but she walked anyway, her footsteps echoing down the hallway like accusations. In her room, she collapsed onto her bed, eyes burning. Her phone lit up, Darren's name. "Delayed flight? Miss you?" The words twisted in her stomach. Too late, too far, too absent. She turned the phone over and lay in the dark, tears finally coming. Not from shame, but from the aching truth. For the first time in years, she had felt alive. And now she wished she hadn't. Down the hall, Ethan sat alone, jaw clenched, eyes fixed on the ceiling. He hadn't planned it, but he hadn't stopped it either. And neither of them could take it back. Morning came with an unkind brightness. The sun forced its way through the blinds, exposing everything Lena had tried to hide in the dark. Her head throbbed, not from the wine, but from the weight of reality. She lay still, the sheets tangled around her legs. Last night's choices echoed through her like a siren she couldn't silence. The guilt wasn't loud. It was quiet, patient, waiting to devour her in moments of stillness. Ethan hadn't spoken a word when she passed him in the hallway earlier. He'd avoided her gaze, eyes fixed on his phone, shoulders tense. Lena had muttered a soft "morning," but received only a nod in return. It wasn't avoidance, it was shame, hers and his, sitting heavy in the space between them. By midday, the silence had calcified. Ethan hadn't left his room. Lena hovered in the kitchen, fidgeting with the mail, rereading grocery lists she had no intention of following. Nicole texted, "You free?" Lena replied, "Please come." 30 minutes later, Nicole stepped into the house, her presence cutting through the still air. She took one look at Lena's pale face and narrowed her eyes. "What happened?" Lena hesitated, then gestured toward the dining room. Once seated, the words tumbled out in fragments. Guilt, confusion, Ethan, the wine, the kiss, and everything that followed. Her voice trembled, but she didn't cry. She felt too numb for that. Nicole stared at her, speechless. "You slept with your stepson?" Lena winced at the word. It wasn't planned, it just happened. "That's not how these things work," Nicole snapped. "You don't trip into betrayal." Lena lowered her head. "I know. I wasn't thinking. I just felt forgotten. And he saw me." Nicole exhaled, running her hands through her hair. "Lena, I'm your friend, and I love you. But you need to end this. Now. Before it destroys more than just your conscience." "I already have," Lena whispered. They sat in silence for a moment, the only sound the distant hum of a lawnmower down the street. Nicole stood, kissed Lena's forehead, and left without another word. That evening, Lena found Ethan on the back porch, arms folded, gaze distant. The air between them felt brittle. She sat beside him but left space. "We need to talk." He nodded but didn't look at her. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I should have stopped it. I was the adult. I failed you." He finally turned to her. "You didn't fail me. I knew what I was doing. I just didn't know how it would feel afterward." Lena swallowed. "I think it's best if we pretend it didn't happen, for both our sakes." Ethan nodded. "I already booked a train back to campus. I'll leave in the morning." She bit her lip. "You don't have to run." "I'm not running," he said. "I just can't stay here. Not now." They sat there, listening to the chirping. Crickets, the sun dipping below the trees like a curtain drawing on a scene neither of them could rewrite. Darren returned the next night. The sound of his suitcase wheels rolling across the tile jolted Lena more than she expected. He walked in, looking exhausted, but managed a smile. "Missed you." She hugged him, stiff, brief, dutiful. Over dinner, he talked about the conference, the delays, the client who couldn't pronounce his name. She nodded, laughed where appropriate, played the role of the attentive wife. But everything felt different. Afterward, as they lay in bed, Darren surprised her. He reached for her hand. "I've been thinking," he said. "I've been gone. Too much. I don't want to lose us." Lena's throat tightened. "That would be nice." He kissed her forehead and turned out the light. Moments later, his breathing slowed into sleep. She stared at the ceiling, tears slipping silently into her pillow. Ethan left at dawn. Lena watched from the upstairs window, unseen, arms wrapped around herself. He didn't look back. She stayed there long after the car disappeared, heart heavy with the weight of what they'd done and what they could never undo. The house returned to its routine, Darren reading the paper at breakfast, Lena watering the plants, the scent of coffee, filling the rooms like a lie. But some silences couldn't be filled. Some cracks didn't show, but they spread slowly, quietly, beneath the surface. And though Lena never spoke of that night again, it lived with her. In glances, in memories, in the spaces where truth used to rest. Because some mistakes aren't shouted, they're whispered, carried, endured. And sometimes, the people we hurt the most are the ones we never meant to touch.